The state tax is an apple. We are replacing the current tax code with oranges. So it's not correct to mix apples and oranges.
Herman, are you saying that the state sales tax will also go away?
No, that's an apple.
Okay.
We are replacing a bunch of oranges.
Herman Cain is having some trouble defending his 999 plan, especially now that people are catching on to the fact that it will result in some Americans paying more in taxes. A fact Cain was forced to concede for the very first time on Sunday's Meet the Press.
You acknowledging this morning, which I haven't heard you do before, that there are individuals who are going to pay more in taxes.
They are also.
And
yes.
You think those people are going to rally around tax reform where the wealthy pay less and middle class and lower income folks pay more?
Yes.
How many will pay more? According to the Tax Policy Center, at least 84% of households in the United States will pay more in taxes under the 999 plan. A family of four making $50,000 a year, married, filing jointly with two dependent children, would see a dramatic increase. That family making $50,000 a year currently pays about $8,400 in payroll taxes and federal income tax. That's their federal tax burden, $8,400. Under Cain's 999 plan, their tax burden would increase, federal tax burden, to $13,500. That same family making $1 million a year, that same shape family making $1 million a year, is currently paying $289,000 in federal income tax after a $50,000 mortgage deduction and a $25,000 charitable deduction, which is reasonable to assume at that income level. Under Herman Cain's 999 plan, that $1 million family would pay 9%, $90,000 in federal income tax. Assuming they put $300,000 or so in the bank and spend the rest, the remainder of that spending, they would pay $55,000 in federal sales taxes, the new Cain federal sales tax. That would bring their total federal tax burden to only $145,000. So Herman Cain's 999 plan would result in the family making $50,000 a year paying $5,000 more in federal taxes. The family making $1 million a year would be paying $144,000 less in federal taxes. No surprise, Donald Trump really likes that.
999, whether you like it or you don't.
And a lot of people don't. A lot of conservative economic experts say it's a disaster.
But it's something, okay? It's something. He's putting something out there. Other people are putting out 97-page reports.
Wait. Do you agree with 999?
No, I don't agree with it.
So if he puts it out there and it's wrong just because it's something, does that make a difference?
He's not just catering to me, he's catering to a lot of people. And they understand the simplicity of it. It's simple, it's concise, it's easier to understand. Now, I will say this. I think the sales tax part of it is very tough. Now, do I like being brought down to 9%? I love it.
Right.
Will sales tax affect me? Not too much.
So would you agree with a lot of conservative experts who say that this takes the burden completely off the wealthy and puts it squarely on the shoulders of the poor and the middle class?
Well, I think he's going to amend it. I think he's going to. I don't think he's completed it.
Joining me now is Last Word senior Trump correspondent Jonathan Capehart, Washington Post editorial writer and MSNBC contributor. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence. Great to be here.
Have you got to speak to the great man? You have Donald's number. You chat with him.
Right, I chat
with him. Have you spoken to the great man about 999?
No, I have not talked to him about 999. I have not spoken to him today. I did talk to him before his tele-town hall with Michelle Bachmann.
There's just wonderful Trump inconsistency within one answer. He's up here at the top of this page in the transcript of what he just said. He's saying the simplicity of it. It's simple. It's concise. That's what he loves about 999.
Right.
And then he says, well, you have to amend it. In other words, you have to complicate it.
Right. Well, he said it's not done. That's the very last thing he said. I think what Donald Trump likes about it is that it's catchy. It's something that trips us off of everyone's lips when you ask, who's Herman Cain? Oh, 999 guy. But once you get into the details, it's horrifying. Even Donald Trump, in that soundbite you just showed, he says, I don't agree with it.
Right.
But he does like the fact that his tax rate will be brought down to 9%. He loves that. Of course he would. Anybody would. The 9% sales tax, of course he says, it's not going to affect me much because what does he care?
Right.
Yeah.
And so every single analysis you can do of this shows that it is a massive tax increase on 84% of the people or more. And it actually is not as good. I was checking upper incomes. You have to get to a pretty serious high income before it starts to work for you. It's to work for you consistently because he eliminates the mortgage deduction. He eliminates a bunch of deductions, that you can't use. And so, but Herman Cain cares nothing about any fact that gets presented to him on this, and he will just continue to boldly assert, oh no, it does this and it does that, and it's revenue neutral. There's nothing that's ever going to shake him, right?
Well, not up until last night. I think we hit a watershed moment with Herman Cain in this 999 plan because up until that moment, he wasn't really taken seriously. 999 was about getting his name out there, making a splash, and he did. He's now at the top of every poll. He's at the top of South Carolina's poll. But when you have people from the right on that stage attacking every single sentence of your plan, you have people from the left automatically attacking your plan, and then you have places like the Tax Policy Center, nonpartisan, just looking at the numbers, hammering you. You have no choice but to, if you want to be considered a credible candidate, be able to answer all those questions specifically and not just say you haven't read the plan. And the idea that Donald Trump just said, well, he's going to have to amendment, it's not finished. That's unacceptable. You cannot become elected president of the United States and present a plan that sweeping and that radical and only have it be a rough draft.
Just quickly before we go, his supporters and Cain seem to think that all he needs to do is not back down. He doesn't need to command facts. He just needs to hold his ground and assert that he's right.
At a certain point, though, it's all going to crumble because it might work well in a debate, but when the folks in Iowa go to caucus and the folks in New Hampshire go to vote in their primaries, they're going to be looking at hard and fast evidence to see whether this person should be in the Oval Office. And quite frankly, they're going to take a look at him by then and say, no, he's not.
MSNBC analyst and our Donald Trump translator, Jonathan Capehart, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence.